Welcome to our Behind the Mic with MAB podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Fontaine. Join me as I chat with vibrant radio hosts, intriguing television personalities, and the brilliant minds behind TV and radio stations in our broadcast community. Today, we don't have someone that is actually in the broadcast industry with us, but we have one of our pep partners, and I am
Mhm.
so excited to have her with us today. We'll tell you what that means in just a minute. But today I have Sergeant First Class Shelbi Constancio, the
Yes.
marketing director for the Mississippi Army National Guard. From enlisting in the active army
Mhm.
in 2005 to serving as a police officer in Clinton, Mississippi. I can't wait to hear about this. Shelby's journey is one of resilience, leadership, and purpose. She shares her experience in re enlisting in 2015, deploying in 2018, and transitioning into a full time recruiting role in 2019, all while earning her master's in education and raising five daughters. Shelby also opens up about balancing military life, motherhood, and personal passions like CrossFit and supporting her daughters on the softball field. We actually have a screen up here with us today so we can see one of them that is going to be playing at 3, right, Shelby?
That is correct. Yep. I'm really excited to be here.
And bless you, what happened to your arm?
I actually had a rotator cuff tear and had surgery the 20th of this month. Just in recovery right now.
And you were pretty amazing the other day too, as we were eating lunch, and I was like, "How are you going to eat that exactly with one hand?" And you made it work.
Yes.
You were like, "Yeah, it could be worse."
It could be. I could have had surgery on my dominant hand and I'd have to figure out how to eat with my left hand. So luckily that was not the case. Uh, and I ate something that was easy to pick up with a fork.
Well, I'm really excited to have you here with us, and what an amazing story. I have been so excited to talk to you. Okay, let's start with the fact that you are from Florida.
I am originally from Florida. I was born in Orlando, and then when I was 2, I believe we moved to Venice, which is a small little town just south of Sarasota. Siesta Key is what many people know of Sarasota. And then graduated from Venice High School in 2005, and not 2 weeks later went to basic training in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
And then went to basic training.
Yep.
How was basic training? Is it really hard?
Um, in 2005, it was harder than it is now. Um, Things have adjusted to meet the needs of the soldiers and the recruits that go through. So, as times change, things update and adjust for that reason. Um, so mentally, it can get tough regardless of how physical, but it was really fun. I love a good challenge. After that, I went to Fort Huachuca to be an intel analyst, and I was there up until about February of 2006. And then went to Fort Polk, Louisiana, and that was my first active duty station.
So tell me, you said that you like a good challenge, and I can see that there is maybe this tiny, like, competitive part of
Yes,
you,
yes,
maybe?
yes, just a slight bit.
So tell me about basic training. What do you do in basic training? Like, even now, like,
Okay.
if you were recruiting someone, what do they do in basic training?
They prepare you to be a soldier first, but it's not just about being a soldier. It's learning how to lead, it's learning how to follow, it's learning how to grow and mature. Um, there have been several young men and women that have told me that basic training affected them in ways they never thought would help them in the civilian world with speaking to people, even writing things, studying, because they still have to take tests, even though it's military based, they still have to figure out how to remember the different creeds or the different general orders or the different information that is needed for whatever the task or the mission that they have to complete at that time. So, um, being a soldier is first and foremost, but it's more than just that. Um, you grow and you become resilient and you learn how to overcome sometimes the worst of the worst things.
How long is basic training?
Basic training is 9 weeks and 4 days. There are a few days prior to that. There's a few days prior to that encompass reception where they get uniforms and make sure they're up to date on all their medical things. Um, Anything that has to do with preparing them for the training aspect of basic training. But it is 9 weeks and 4 days.
Aren't there certain things? I've always heard this, that there were certain things that could prevent you from being able to go into basic training. I've heard like some really strange things, like something wrong with your foot or something like that. Is that true or no?
There are a few disqualifying medical reasons that someone would not be able to enlist. A anaphylactic allergy to much of anything but peanuts, shellfish, peanut butter, anything like that. Anything requiring an EpiPen, right? So that is more so something that you wouldn't expect. However, you see peanuts and you see wasps and things like that throughout your career in the military. Um, you have other things that can be waived, which I won't go into too much detail, but if you are curious, it doesn't hurt to reach out to one of our recruiters and just be like, hey, I have this situation going on medically. Do you think I can qualify? And they'll be happy to help figure that out.
That's interesting.
Yep.
You would think you could just say, hey,
Yeah.
I'm allergic, but I have an EpiPen, so it's really no big deal. But
Yeah.
no, that is not the case.
That is not the case. So my entrance into the military, I had to have a waiver for my knee. I had an ACL reconstruction from playing football in high school, and I had to get a waiver to enlist into the military.
Okay, well, let's talk about that for just a minute. You played football in high school.
I did. It was very, very short-lived, I guess I could say, because I wasn't able to continue after I ruptured my ACL, MCL, and meniscus. But junior year, I still had a year, and I just did powerlifting. So I did girls powerlifting in high school, and I think was 10th in the state my senior year. It was great.
Well, I'm so impressed with you.
Oh, thanks.
So, football team, were there other females on this football team? It
No,
was
there
just
weren't.
you.
It was just me. I always like to strive to do something challenging, and I love football. I love the game. And when they didn't tell me no, I said, "Okay, so let's go play." And I don't regret it because I would have regretted more not trying than I would have the fact that I got an injury. It's a good time.
Okay, you amaze me more and more every day.
I just want to be able to inspire a young man or woman to pursue something that they never thought that would be possible. Um, Failure is ultimately not in the action, but in not doing what you put out to do.
So, this is a very random question. I have no idea why this one just came to the top of my brain. But did you have, I'm assuming you had your own like dressing room?
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I had my own locker room, of course. It was the girls' soccer locker, so it wasn't too far from the practice fields and stuff like that.
So, how do the guys feel about this?
So at first, the coach was actually a police officer who I knew personally, and he told me that the boys were afraid to hit me because I'm a female, and he told them specifically that if she's here to do what you do, treat her the same. And I sure felt it the next time we had Oklahoma drills. It was fine. It was great. It was fun.
So you were ready
Yeah.
for military.
I would say so, yes. I've got several family members who were in the military, and I just always loved serving. September 11th came in my freshman year of high school, and if you know anything about the history of the terrorists, two of them actually learned how to fly in the airport in my hometown. So it was just I just want to go and protect something that meant so much to me.
So you went into the military immediately following high school.
Yes.
And then you said you had basic training.
Yes.
And then you went into active duty. So what did active duty look like?
So for me, I went to my duty station. There were several training events. I actually um, got out of active duty earlier than my contract due to pregnancy, not because I had to, but it was a choice. I felt it was the right thing at the time. And when I got married, we moved to Mississippi for family reasons. And that's when I found Mississippi as home in 2007.
And you're loving Mississippi, right?
Yes, actually, Clinton is the Venice. So I'm used to it. Venice is a retirement community. Clinton is actually a retirement community, even though there's Mississippi College is there. So it's very much a place that I enjoy raising my children. The school district is phenomenal. Um, so I really do enjoy being in the city.
So you had that baby girl,
Yes.
and then you went back into the military?
So I had, mm, oh gosh, I started my degree program in 2007 with a bachelor's in education. Did that with the first daughter, who's now the freshman in college, and then decided to go ahead and pursue a master's in special education through Texas Tech, and did that with my next set, which are twins, and completed that in 2011. And then just, raising a family, going and teaching. So it wasn't until 2015 that after a divorce, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go and be in law enforcement. So I stopped teaching and I went through the uh, CERP-C program down at Camp Shelby. And I met a young lady who was in the Guard as a single mother. Like, there's no way I can join the Guard as a single parent. She's like, no, you can't. I was like, okay, we're going to test this theory. She actually gave me a recruiter who is my predecessor in the position I'm in now. He is now Master Sergeant Josh Seymour. He was my recruiter. And he's like, oh, yeah, we got you. And so I was like, okay, signed the paperwork. And I re-enlisted into the Army National Guard. And it has been the best decision that I have made, in my opinion, in the past several years.
Okay, I love Josh Seymour,
Yep,
your predecessor.
he is great people.
He is, he is.
Yes.
Kudos to him for recruiting you.
Yeah.
Let me go backwards a little bit from what you just said. What did you teach?
I taught high school math, transitioned to algebra at Vicksburg High School, and then I taught ACT prep, sociology, and I was qualified to teach like PE and other social studies in the high school level. But with my undergraduate, I could teach elementary school, but chose high school because I had elementary school age children of my own at the time. I'd prefer to just, have a little break.
I bet you were an excellent.
Oh,
I bet they
thank
loved you.
I high school students, 16, 17, 18, are, in my opinion, some of the most influenced young adults um, in ages because they're trying to figure out who they are. What do you want to do? And a lot of times they don't know. A lot of times they'll get into trouble. I was one who got in trouble when I was 17 years old. that could have affected my entire life. Nothing terrible, right? And my daughters laugh at me for why I got in trouble. But
Are you going to tell us? We want to know. Come on, Shelby.
I attempted to steal sunglasses from Walmart and I got caught. And I had already signed my contract for active duty. And so the result of that path could have completely changed my entire future. And someone that I really sees like a dad to me, but he was in as the police officer back home. He said, it's not what you do right in this moment, but what you do in your future that's going to dictate your future. And I was like, I want to be that person for that age. So I taught high school, and there are several stories that I have students who, like, thanks, Miss C, for helping me here. Thanks, Miss C, for never giving up on me. Then became a police officer, and it was always the kids that I was drawn to. I always wanted to make sure that they just had somebody that they knew they could go to. And even being a recruiter, whether you enlist or not, knowing that this is an opportunity. It's like your dash when you die or when you retire or whatever it may be, that little tiny like speck of time in what time really is. It's nothing. It's minimal. And when somebody sees your obituary or your tombstone or they read your program at your retirement and they see the dates, what are they going to think of when they see that? Do you want people to see your legacy as negative or positive, or one that changed over time? Were you the problem child before, but you found something that meant something and you became a success? Like, how do you want to be seen? So, how are you defining your dash? And that's something that I used a lot with a lot of the young men and women that I spoke to, even adults.
Absolutely. That's so important. Were you hard on them? Were you a hard teacher?
No, I was fun. ACT prep is really about, the best ways to overcome the struggles of the test, like how to cut out certain questions, process of elimination, context words, things like that. So that can get boring. No offense to the curriculum, but it can get boring. So we did several single individual quarter things like building card deck bridges, right? So they were in teams and they'd have to take a deck of cards or two deck of cards to build bridges, and they'd have to sustain a certain amount of weight. And we would find a question in ACT and how are we problem solving? That's ACT prep. You got to learn how to problem solve. We had one was how many rubber bands did it take to bust a watermelon? I think we had like 1,700 rubber bands to bust like a watermelon to make it explode. And then one quarter we did the Mentos. How many Mentos in a Coke bottle would have the highest projection out of the Coke bottle itself? So it's just fun. I like to have fun. I like to enjoy life. There's nothing in this life worth being mad or angry or sad or just frustrated about, because it can always be worse. Like my shoulder, it could always be worse. There's somebody who's had it worse. So why am I going to complain about something that doesn't even affect a lot of the things that I do?
What a great attitude. And you do
Thanks.
sound like you were really fun.
Thanks. My
I would
kids,
want to be in your class.
my own children say that I'm not fun or cool, but their friends do think I'm cool. So that it goes.
That's important.
Yeah.
How did you decide that you wanted to be a police officer?
Growing up, I was in Police Explorers. And when I got divorced, I was like, I want to go back into law enforcement. And so I did. I actually started in Madison. They gave me the chance, sent me to training. And then there was an opportunity in Clinton that came open to where I could stay closer to home, be closer to my daughters. And so I took that before going full time with Guard.
What were some of the scariest things you had to do as a police officer?
Um, I guess for me, the scariest things were if it would have to do with a child, because I have children of my own. Um, Always thinking, how would I approach that situation or what would I do in that situation? Thankfully, in the short tenure I had in law enforcement, I didn't have anything too terrible when it came to that aspect. But everything else, the adrenaline just, my fight or flight was more of a fight response, not a flight response. So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
I just never realized that you did that until today.
Yes, ma'am.
You're pretty tough.
I mean, sometimes you have to be.
And then you met Josh.
And then I met Josh. Yep,
Then you came to the Guard.
I did.
So tell me about that.
All right. Yes, that was really simple. I came to the office right up in Canton, across from the detention center, the Madison County Detention Center on 51 is an armory, but it's got recruiting in there. And he's like, "All right, so let's fill this paperwork out. You want to get in?" I said, "Absolutely." And sure enough, we signed the paperwork. I went to MEPS, did the quick physical portion that I had to do, and then I swore back in. It's funny, in searching for my photos for the podcast, I found that one photo of me raising my right hand.
You didn't send me that one.
I did not. It's not a flattering photo. I had just gotten off shift, so I'm wearing shorts, board shorts, a black T-shirt, and my hair's in a ponytail. So, not something that I probably would like to show.
You weren't feeling that one. We could have shared it, couldn't we, Daniel?
I'm sure it would have been
Let's pull it
shared.
up right now.
I'd have to pretend not to find that one. But and then after that, I was part of the MP battalion right there in Madison.
What does that mean? What does that entail?
Military police. So intelligence. When you're in a MOB status, you take information that is gained from really combat MOSs like in infantry or scouts or anybody really in the forward position. You take social media, you take internet, all sources of information. You analyze it, and the information you analyze, you give back to commanders for them to make decisions on how to approach whatever mission that is. In a more of a non-mobilized facet, you look into weather, making sure that the training is going to be fine during specific weather, that there's not going to be any tornadoes if we're at the ranges. Still paying attention to any threats that might be around because the world changes. Domestic threat is everywhere. And ensuring that everything really just flows with some of those parts of that information.
Which you were able to utilize your math and analytical skills.
Correct. That's correct.
So perfect.
Yep, it worked out. I moved to the 150th Engineer Battalion, Engineer Battalion in 2017. And then we did a deployment to Kuwait and the surrounding countries 2018, and then came home in the beginning of 2019.
What do you do in an engineering battalion?
So that was more of a support battalion. So engineers, they have several different facets. They have horizontal, so your heavy equipment operators are pushing anything from dirt to buildings to roads to whatever it may be to create a path. You have your combat engineers who blow things up, for the lack of a better word. They like to use C4, and that's fun to watch. You've got vertical engineers who do building buildings. Then you have more of your trade focused. You have your electricians, your plumbers. You even have geospatial engineers, kind of your architects, anything engineering for that. And then they have support companies that are your signal. So anything has to do with radios, computers, any kind of area that's technologically based. And then you have your intelligence company. Your intelligence company is your analysts, your human intelligence. So they're the ones who are observing and watching and paying attention. Signal intelligence, anything intelligence, that's that company. Your UAS, so your drone flyers and things like that. Then you have your forward support, which is like your mechanics and anybody that fixes things. So fixing tracks or vehicles or whatever at that point.
And what did you do in that aspect of it?
In that company, I ended up being my battalion commander's retention NCO. So retaining the battalion soldiers while we were deployed. And I was also his assistant, made sure that we were in the places that we need to go to. But primarily the retention was my position.
And I didn't realize until I went to Camp Shelby, we had the fun little exercise in the tanks,
Mm-hmm.
and it had rained the day before. Well, actually, the morning of, because we didn't even get to fly actually into Camp Shelby that day. But it was really fun to go. They were booking it down that
Yep.
dirt road, and then they would spin.
Yep.
I was so muddy from head to toe, but it was really fun. But it was so interesting. I did not realize how many tanks from so many places come to Camp Shelby.
Mm-hmm. Camp Shelby is like a hub. It was a MOB station for several years, especially in the early 2000s. But it is still maintained as a training site for really all branches. Several countries will come through just to train because of the facilities that we do have offering that capability.
I had no idea. That
Yes,
was
ma'am.
pretty amazing.
Yep, it's really cool.
I was very bad at the shooting range thing. It was terrible.
It's okay. It's okay.
I was like, I think something. Daniel, I think I was going, Josh, I think there's something wrong with mine. He's like, I think you're not hitting it.
Look, sometimes
I need a little training, Shelby. You got to help me out.
next time I'll make sure that we handle it. We handle that.
Thank you. And you will be there with me
Yes.
in June. So,
Yes, I
yes,
will.
you're going to handle that for me,
I
right?
will handle that for you. Yes.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
I'm here for you, Amanda.
I'm here for you too, Squirrel.
Yes, ma'am. You have been completely here for me, and I appreciate you.
So, tell me about being deployed. Okay, I can't imagine, first of all, I can't imagine being deployed. But then you had how many girls at home when you were deployed?
At the time, I had 4 daughters.
How did you do that?
With the help of their dad, of course, and then several of my friends who just stood in the gap. If there was an issue at 7:00 at night in my time that my daughter was dealing with, then somebody would go and stand in the gap and make sure that they were okay. Or one of my favorite memories was my oldest was in the 6th grade talent show. And so connecting things, right? There was a group of young men and women that were kids that I mentored while I was a police officer in Clinton that I just sent a message in our group snap that we had. And I said, hey, this date at this time, Estrella is singing for the talent show. Show up. And they took an entire row, brought signs, excuse me, and cheered her on. And there's a picture of her standing on stage and the whole line just cheering her on. It was so great. It was amazing to have that support, especially not being from Clinton, just to see people show up. The pictures from my daughter's friends' parents at the softball field. I got a good friend, Carrie, her dad would send me selfies of him and one of my daughters because their granddaughter's playing softball at the same time. So I'd get a selfie of the other daughters just with them. And I couldn't have been more grateful.
How awesome is that? And
Yeah.
what a great friend group.
Yes, definitely.
How long were you there?
So the total MOB for myself was 15 months because we had to do pre-MOB at Bliss, then we did 9 months, and then we had to do post-MOB. So we had some training time, actual time, and then just coming home, doing several of the out briefs, making sure paperwork was covered and all of the tasks were complete before we headed back home.
So you were away from your girls for 15 whole months.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. I can't even imagine saying goodbye and how hard that would be. Like, I'll be back in 15 months. It won't really seem like that long. I mean, wow.
Yeah. It was definitely different, but they were real troopers. They're the heroes. You know, everybody asks, well, how do you do it? They do it. Like, I just try to do the best to make sure that they get what they need.
How was the communication? Were you able to talk to them a good bit?
Oh, yeah. The FaceTime was good because there's Wi-Fi. Technology changes over time. Before it was payphones and maybe some Skype, but now there are several opportunities with the Wi-Fi and text messaging and things like that. And some carriers are really good about not upping the charge for the cost to be able to communicate through that.
What did you do when you were deployed? Like, what was your job there?
It was retention, making sure that soldiers that were in the battalion, when their end of time in service came, that I made sure that they signed their paperwork correctly, that they got the things that were needed in that time, to be able to continue their service without any kind of hiccups or anything like that.
Did you see like any really terrible stuff?
I did not. I was very fortunate to not have to see any of those things. But you just never know with the days of time, even recent times, there were things that happened in Kuwait that had I been there during that time, I may have seen things. So I'm grateful that I did not have to at that time.
What was the hardest thing you had to do there? I mean, I know you missed your family, obviously, but
Um,
I guess the worst thing you had to deal with.
ooh, um,
Where do you stay? I don't
We
know
s-
anything about this. Like, were you in a tent?
we were.
Did you have a shower?
I did have a shower. I would say the hardest thing that I had to deal with when I did drive on the roads was the traffic. You're going 90 miles an hour in rush hour traffic. The emergency lanes are suggestions when it's back to back. I think the driving probably had to be the scariest part. Oh, they're warming up.
Ah,
Just so everyone can see, we actually have your daughter's television or softball game on the television in the back of the studio. So,
I think they started
Yeah.
early because of weather.
and this is in Texas.
we hope she wins.
I hope so too.
they're
They've
gonna
actually,
win. Oh, yeah.
they are. We're gonna
Yeah.
proclaim it.
Yeah.
Proclaimed. The cool thing about that, they just finished that field probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. So they're finally able to play, and that's right out the back of their college. You can see the college kind of up in the corner, top left-hand side of the screen.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when she seems a little distracted and a little,
Yeah.
she's gonna be. That's my
I'm not
daughter
paying
that just
attention.
scored right there.
I'm not paying attention, I
What
promise.
color is your daughter's team?
White.
White. Okay.
And she plays for.
Trinity Valley Cardinals in Athens, Texas. Go Cards.
And they are playing against.
That I actually don't remember. I just know they're playing. I think it's North. I'd have to look it up. Let me have 2 seconds. 12 seconds.
And
Northeast Texas.
Northeast Texas. And she is in college.
She is. She's a freshman in college. She is actually a semester and a half ahead, because she took several dual enrollment and AP classes while she went to Clinton. She actually took Biology 2 this semester, and we'll be finishing that up. She wants to pursue medical route. So she's stuck between a neurosurgeon and a physical therapist.
Oh.
Yes. Right, right.
She doesn't take after you at all, does she? No.
Not at all. No.
Overachiever.
Well, she actually wanted to join the military, but she has epilepsy, and that actually is a disqualifying condition if it is treated. So if you take medicine or any kind of treatment for epilepsy, you have to be 5 years off medicine with no seizure to even be considered for a waiver. Yeah. So she's out for now.
I've learned so much today. How about you, Daniel?
100 times. So much.
Yes.
So much.
Yes. Okay, so you were deployed.
Yes, ma'am.
You came back.
Yes.
What did you do when you came back?
I was on leave for however many days they allotted. I went back into being a police officer. And one day, my old battalion commander said, "You need to go apply for this recruiting job in the Jackson area." I was like, and that's about what my face looked like. It was like, I don't know. He goes, "Apply for the job." Sir, fine, I'll apply for the job. Applied for the job, and I interviewed, and I found out later that before I walked in, I was not the choice. The person before me was the choice. And I knew one person on the board, but he wasn't on the board. He was just an observant. And history is behind us. I got the job, but I blew it out of the water just by whatever it was I said or whatever it was that I did.
Some of the things that you said that you're probably just not saying because we're live on the podcast, but I do remember they were kind of priceless from what I recall.
They were very priceless.
Yes.
Very priceless moments. But I'm forever grateful for giving the opportunity. I told them I would love to recruit in Clinton because that's where I'm from or where I lived. And originally I was in Yazoo City before I went to recruiter school. So I would just drive from Clinton up to Yazoo. When I got back from recruiter school, I got told, "Hey, so Clinton position opened. You're now the Clinton recruiter." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks, God. Thanks. You heard me." And that was the answer. So I recruited in Clinton from 2019 up until this year when I became the marketing director.
Oh, perfect.
It was great.
So around how many people did you recruit to be members of the Army National Guard?
I recruited 77. I believe is the last number that I looked at was 77 before going into marketing.
Well, you are obviously a really good recruiter.
I just love helping people. It's all about opportunity.
That is amazing. And now you're in this position.
I am.
There was a little turnaround.
Yep.
Josh moved and his position was open.
Yep, I feel like I'm just following in his footsteps. So who knows what's next?
And now we have Squirrel.
Yes, ma'am.
I get to work with Squirrel.
Yes.
I remember Josh going, "Okay, we fill the position and you're going to be working with Squirrel." And I was like, "Who?" And he was like, "Squirrel." I was like, "Okay, so how did you come up with the name Squirrel?"
So Squirrel was a name that I got in high school. Nothing that really stuck because my last name was Johnson. Everyone can say Johnson, right? I was in the Marine Corps JROTC. We had a SWAT team. We did SWAT competitions, and we ran it one time by ourselves, like individually. And the SWAT officers were like, "Oh, you ran that like a squirrel. Oh, squirrel." So in that moment, it was like, "Where's that squirrel girl?" Whatever. So when I got divorced and I was in Taekwondo, and at one point I was like, "Oh, it's squirrel season today." And they were like, "Squirrel much?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so I was like, "Just call me Squirrel." Like kind of a joke, but kind of like, not a joke. And then went into law enforcement and I got Constantinople, condiments, constellations, Constancio. When you look at it, they add extra syllables, extra letters that aren't there. I said, "Y'all just call me Squirrel." So in law enforcement, I was Squirrel, "Hey, Squirrel, whatever." And then when I became a recruiter, well, even in the Guard, Sergeant Squirrel, Private Squirrel, whatever it may be. And being an intel, Secret Squirrel, so it just fit right? Well, then I went into recruiting, and kids don't care about my last name being Constancio because it's hard to say, Sarn Constancio. Well, they're like, oh, this is Sarn Squirrel. Sarn Squirrel. Hey, Squirrel. So my kids would say, yeah, I'm Squirrel's daughter, We're walking through the hallways. It was just that easy. It was a way for making something scary because a uniform can be scary. Like kids will because you wear the uniform because they just don't know. It's not until they know that it's really not that bad. Um, the squirrel kind of was the icebreaker. Hey, she's cool. She's not going to try to, force us to do anything. No, we're just going to have fun. So it stuck. And then still in marketing, I still do that. I have to be a little more professional in some areas, of course, which is great. But Squirrel is a really good, just chill opportunity for me to have fun.
It is. I love it. I think I may have even introduced you at conferences.
You did.
Squirrel. I'm sorry.
It's fine. But see,
instead of Shelby, I'm sorry.
They're going to remember Squirrel even over Shelby. Right? Daniel, you're going to remember Squirrel now. You will
Yeah, most
not
definitely. Yeah.
remember my name.
Yeah. What is your name again?
Yep.
Well, as you have transitioned to marketing,
Yes.
how has that been? A challenge?
In some aspects, yes, but it has been so much fun figuring out how to help my recruiters. Like North Mississippi and South Mississippi are two completely different cultures. The Delta and Jackson are two different cultures. Like, how can we take what those areas are used to and make it an effective promotion, an effective brand of the Mississippi Army National Guard, right? I mean, you never know. You may find something that you never thought of or an aspect that we never dreamed of. And I can say I was set up for success by Josh. He took marketing and just did amazing things with it, and I'm really, really grateful. And I joked with him. I was like, I'm just going to take it and make it better. He goes, do that. And I was like, okay, I will, right? The fire hose was very effective. Like it was very much in effect through this first year so far. There were several things that I definitely could do better at, but I love it. I love being able to just take the creative and make it happen. Our current battalion commander said, why is there a box to think out of? Get rid of the box and just think. And I'm like, I got it. Like, the sky is the limit. Really, it's the universe. Like, there's no limit.
You have been so creative. You've done such a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I have no idea why this one thing popped in my head again, but I, like right after you started, you were telling me about is it the MRE competition?
Yes, the MRE competition.
That was really cool. I was like, you do what?
Yes. So when I was in Clinton, so I kind of did marketing on my own for myself, because in recruiting, in my thought, marketing is branding yourself first, making yourself a prominent figure in the area you're in, and then bringing to light the product you're selling, right? Nobody's going to believe me or want to talk to me if they don't know who I am, if they don't know what I stand for as a person. So after COVID, I was like, how cool would it be to do like an MRE cook-off? Just take one MRE. We have a culinary class in Clinton. It is a phenomenal program. They compete all over. And so I was like, well, let's go do this. So myself and Chef Bruce and Chef Phillips, we just did something in-house. It was 2021, I think, right when COVID, like we were able to all go back to school. And I was like, hey, Chef, how cool would it be if we brought like a military kitchen to start cooking on? She's like, oh, that would be cool. And so I'm like, I don't know if it would happen, but like, that would be cool, right? And early 2022, we brought a kitchen to Clinton, didn't cook on it, but it was there, and they cooked our UGRs, which is a field ration that's part perishable, part non-perishable. And they just got the experience of cooking, got to walk through, talk to some of our culinary specialists, which is the cook and the guard. And then I threw the idea, I was like, we need to do this for the state. Bring kids in from all schools across the state to cook on this piece of equipment. And it was the beginning of 23, I believe. We had in Clinton the very first state MRE cook-off. There were 8 or 9 teams, I believe, that signed up. I think 7 were able to attend. It was the containerized kitchens. It was set up like as if, there were military vehicles. It was a whole to-do. It was so great. And these students cooked in these military kitchens just as if a Mississippi Army National Guard cook would cook. And since then, it has just bloomed and blossomed. This year, we were going to have it in November and had 19 teams that signed up, ready to do it. Unfortunately, we were not able to at that time, but we pushed it out to recently this past month. And we had 10 teams participate, one from Tennessee that made the drive all the way to Camp Shelby. They cooked in the dining facilities from one MRE bag and 10 additional ingredients. And Petal won this year. Petal was the top chef for this year's MRE competition. First year was Clinton, second year was Brandon, and this year was Petal.
Have spread the love.
Yes, it was really, I love it. It's great to see just the creativity that these young men and women come up with, and like so much support from their fan base and their instructors that put all that time and effort into doing that.
I just thought that was a very creative idea. So that was this past month. Was that when you sent me the selfie with you and my husband?
Yes.
It was.
So that was when they were preparing for Pro Start.
Oh, okay.
So
Pro
Clint was
Start.
preparing for Pro Start, and he was one of the, he's the Pro Start. He is the Pro Start. He is Mr. Pro Start, as a matter of fact. He was there to kind of just get a taste and a feel of what they were going to take to Pro Start Nationals.
Because they won last year.
They took 4th last year in Pro Start, yes, out of 50 teams, I guess. I'm not really into the knowledge of Pro Start, but that's my understanding.
They did so well.
They really did. They really did.
Okay, let's talk about this real quick.
Okay.
So you have 5 girls. Run those ages by us one more time.
The oldest will be 19 in August. My twins just turned 17. They're juniors, about to be seniors at Clinton. My 14-year-old this month will be in 9th grade next year, and then I have a 3-year-old.
That
Oh, man.
is crazy. That is so much juggling. And they're
Yes.
all so active and everything.
They are active.
So Daniel, the other day, because that time management side of me that I like literally love, I was
Yeah.
like, how the heck do you do this?
Yeah.
So tell me what you told me about
So-
this really cool calendar that I was like, I'm going to order it now.
Yes, so there's a calendar that I saw, on Facebook, and my algorithm, it's the Skylight calendar. In that calendar, you purchase the actual calendar for the wall. It's digital. You can make it into a frame as well, but it's got profiles that you can add into that program for, I don't really know how many, but it fits everyone that I have, so it works for right now.
It should be good for most people
It
then.
should be good for most people. I've got 7 profiles, so it should work. But you can color each profile. So each one of my daughters has a different color. And then you can do meals. You can create chores. You can create rewards. You can do near anything with that. There is a subscription to it for some of the cooler features, but if I don't have to think about what I'm going to cook by putting what I have in my refrigerator in my pantry and have it make a recipe for me, I'll pay the extra few dollars just so I don't have to worry about that.
I had never heard of it. I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
It
And I
is.
did a presentation for the Source the other day, and it was a room full of women. And I was like, okay, who is using this? And there were at least, I would say, 5 to 10 in the room
Mhm.
that were all utilizing it. So everyone was on there, and they were like, if you wait a couple of more days, it may go down in price a tiny bit more before Mother's
Mother's Day.
Yes.
Yep, that's
So
right.
people were all like, okay, tell me again what this is and how
Yes.
do I order it?
Yes.
And it's all because of Squirrel.
Well, you're welcome. I'm here for you.
So yeah, thank you, thank you.
Yes. Just an update on the game.
I
It
know. I
is
keep kind of looking over there.
the bottom
we're
of the
still
first.
0-0,
Yep.
so no one scored yet.
Not yet. Not yet. But there is one. There's some runners on, so let's be hopeful.
Yes, hoping for the best.
Yes,
here.
she's battling. Oh, that's my daughter. Bottom. That bottom. Oh, we didn't make it. It's fine. She's got. Let's see if I see her. No. I think she's back in the dugout, but she was up there for just a brief second. She was
Nice.
at the bottom with the blue bow and the blue headband.
Aw,
Yeah, my number 30.
I know you're so proud.
I am. I'm very proud of her. She has done some amazing things. Her junior year summer, she broke her hand, and that's one of the most important recruiting years of a ball player's life if they want to go to college. And so it was a minor setback, but she didn't let it stop her. She came through and did some really great things.
Again, I think she takes after her mama.
Thank you.
Definitely. Well, I don't think we ever really explained our relationship, I guess. People are probably like, what is PEP?
Yeah.
So, Mississippi Association of Broadcasters has a public education partnership program for those that are listening. This would be for nonprofits or state agencies. And we have had just a really long relationship with the National Guard. So, those spots that you hear on our radio and television stations throughout Mississippi, that would be their recruitment spots.
It is.
So
Yeah.
we encourage everyone to listen. I did talk to one lady that was like, it was a couple of months ago that I can't remember if I told you, but it was a grandmother that was listening. It was like, I am telling my grandson that
Oh, great.
he needs to go into the Guard. And y'all have such great benefits.
We do. I'm very grateful, first of all, for our partnership. It has definitely been a benefit, especially the opportunities to have our recruiters' voices and our faces out there. We definitely could not do that without you. So thank you very much for that. As far as benefits, we have several opportunities with college to help cover the cost of tuition. We have a $10,000 scholarship. It's the State Education Assistance Program. It's for the 4-year universities, it's $10,000, and then for your 2-year junior colleges, it's $5,000, and it pays out half and half for each of the semesters. Then we have the GI Bill, and then the Select Reserve GI Bill, which is not the post 9/11, is something different. And then we have the federal tuition assistance. So for me, as a mother, and in this position, the benefit of the Guard to be able to cover the cost of college is by far the most beneficial. When we raise our right hand, we don't just raise our right hand in defense of the Constitution or of the country. It's for the state of Mississippi and for everything that is within this community. So that also reflects in our benefits. We get the federal benefits and we get the state benefits. So it really just is the maximized opportunity. Most recently, the TRICARE for reserve component for National Guardsmen got put into effect, where our National Guardsmen now have the opportunity to get TRICARE covered for them, and like the repayment and the recoupment towards that for them. You got small business loans, you've got home loans, you've got trade. One benefit that a lot of young men and women don't know is that to be an apprentice, you don't get paid. But if you're a member of the Army National Guard in the state of Mississippi, it gives you a payment, like you get paid so many months in the beginning of your apprenticeship, your internship, and then you get paid. It lessens because you're going into the actual trade itself. You have skill and benefit as far as your civilian acquired skills. So, um, if you are a horizontal engineer, so if you work on the roads, like for Mississippi Department of Transportation, you can take your knowledge and your skill into the Mississippi Army National Guard, use that to cut a portion of your training time for a horizontal engineer and only do basic training. And then you get the benefit of insurance, college for your kids, because the GI Bill can be given to your children for so long. Then you got a second retirement. Get that retirement with the Guard. And then if you're a state employee, you get the state employee retirement as well.
That to me is phenomenal.
Yes. Teachers benefit from it too. Some teachers don't have the summer supplement. They go to the training and they get it covered. They go in as an officer. Being an officer with the 2 weeks can supplement the amount of money they may be losing from not getting paid during the June, July, and some of August months.
So interesting. So if you wanted to leave us with some words of wisdom today, what would that be?
Um, I would say don't be afraid to just do it. I hate to sound like a Nike commercial, but I mentioned in the beginning about defining your dash. What's the worst you've got to lose? What are you living for? Like, are you living for, the clout for yourself, or are you doing it for something bigger? Don't be afraid to just do it. Go out there and put yourself out there. Shoot, the worst thing they can say is no.
I love that. And you've definitely lived by that, I would say.
Yes, ma'am. I try to.
Our
for sure.
female football player over there.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I mean, I've got, 5 daughters who have to, I guess look up to me. And I can say that I'm very grateful that God has given me them as a blessing and trusted me to shepherd them into being the next generation of godly women.
Well, I think you're very blessed and
Thank
you're
you.
doing an amazing job. You always impress me with everything you do.
Thank
I
you.
have and thank you for coming to our conference and
Absolutely.
for presenting at our awards program for us and for all that you do. And the other day I told her she wasn't allowed to leave me, Daniel. I was like, you are not allowed to leave. But I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to what we come up with to do in the future.
Yeah, it'll be fun. If you don't mind, please follow us on social media, Mississippi Army National Guard. We're on Instagram and Facebook, and we have YouTube that we're going to start getting back going.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much
Thank you.
for being here today. I
Yes.
hope she wins.
I will definitely keep. Oh, there she is right there.
Oh, look.
Oh, there it is, number 30, right there to the left. That's my girl.
Oh,
is.
so exciting. That's
Yes.
so cool.
Yep.
Yay.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
And look forward to seeing what we're going to do in the future.
Yes, thank you so much. That was fun.